Security plus domain 3. And let's move to subdomain 3.1. Explain use cases and purpose for frameworks, best practices, and configuration guides. So we're talking about industry standard frameworks and reference architecture. So a framework is an overall concept or overall way of doing things. And we have regulatory and non-regulatory. Regulatory meaning that it's mandated. There's probably a law that says you must do this. Non-regulatory may mean that there's no law, but it's a good idea. It's an industry standard. National versus international. Some things belong to one country and some things are international. For instance, let's say GDPR, right? The European Union's Privacy Act. We're all required to abide by that under penalty of law and fines and fees. Industry-specific frameworks, frameworks that are specific to an industry. So different industries, different frameworks. For instance, you might be in the banking industry, the finance industry, the travel industry, right? So there's things that are particular to your industry, and you'll look at those types of frameworks. Benchmark secure configuration guides. So there's rules, SOPs, regulations for how you lock down servers. So platform vendor specific guides. So depending on the platform that you're using, if you're up on WordPress, there might be different recommendations than if you're on, say, up in the cloud under Azure. And different things apply to web servers, operating systems, application servers, network infrastructure devices. I wanted to say something on network infrastructure devices. Let me see what I still have in the background. I'll make you go away. We take a look at you. So network infrastructure devices are the components of a network that transport communications needed for data application services and multimedia. And we're looking at US Tax Cert, taxcisa.gov. So Department of Homeland Security, United States. Why don't we pop that up? We got copy. I'm going to slide on over here and see what happens. Return. What's the difference between return and enter? There we go. These bad boys. General purpose guides as opposed to platform specific. All right, defense in depth layered security. So vendor diversity. So the idea is if you've got a network and you buy a device from one vendor and another device from another vendor, it's harder for the bad guys to hack in. So if you use all Cisco devices, every device you have that pertains to that area is Cisco, the bad guys just need to know how to hack Cisco. But if you have some Juniper devices and I don't know what else, right? But anyway, if you change that up, it just increases the barrier. And some of the bad guys are time efficient. They want to put in the least amount of time, and come up with the most amount of money. So the harder you make it, the more chance that they'll move on to somebody else. Sort of like leaving your car unlocked or leaving the keys in the ignition. Well, it's low-hanging fruit. Control diversity, administrative and technical. All right, now I had an article on the other screen. Let's see if we can get that article going. Almost there. Almost there. So for security controls, there are, what do we have? Administrative and technical. There's also physical controls. So physical controls is anything tangible that's used to prevent or detect unauthorized access. So fences, gates, guards, security badges. Technical controls are also known as logical controls, and they include hardware or software mechanisms used to protect assets. Administrative controls refer to policies, procedures, or guidelines that say what you can and can't do. So if you train your employees and say, hey, don't do that, that's a security risk. Don't check your private email on our internal computers. Yeah. Don't download untrusted application. That's an administrative control. Technical control would be the software that prevents you from doing that. access control lists and firewalls and whitelisting. User training all comes down to user training, doesn't it? The user's the weakest link. They respond to one tricky email, and there goes your security. All right, that's all I've got for 3.1 right now. On the page I'm going to be putting up, there's also going to be some links to some Quizlets. And I found some people that had some really good Quizlets. I've got like 6 questions. Some people that have been at this for a while have like 170 questions with like 3-paragraph answers. So we'll see if you like those. And I don't think I've gotten started on that, but maybe some test mods, like a little quiz or something. Anyway, that'll be on the main page. Okay, we'll wrap this up and stop.